I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma in October of 2017. My family physician, he decided to do some blood work and discovered that my hemoglobin was very low and that my monoclonal protein was up. And I was referred for a blood transfusion and then follow up with an internal medicine specialist for further diagnostic testing. You know, when you hear the word cancer, it's a shock.
I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma 5 years ago. My doctor told me I had high blood pressure, which I'd never had before. She decided to put me on a blood pressure pill, which I took. And next morning, I started to have all these symptoms while I was at church. Once I got to the hospital and they did a test, they told me that my kidneys were failing. They didn't actually know why this was all happening. They thought it was just the pill, and I had a biopsy, and then they found that there was something wrong with my blood. And that's when they found out that it was multiple myeloma that I had, and that it was affecting my kidneys, and that's why my kidneys were failing. So it was totally out of the blue. I had no idea what this was. When my doctor came in to tell me about it, it was a shock. As soon as she said cancer, I've kind of just froze. I didn't hear anything she said after that, and I just started to cry. My doctor did explain to me that though it was incurable, it was a manageable disease, and you know, people lived a long time with it. Especially now, because of all the new drugs and things like that.
So I had an opportunity when I got home to go on the Myeloma Canada website and access their patient handbook. Their handbook, oh gosh, is an 80-page document full of really, really valuable information. And that kind of gave me hope. This illness may not be curable, but it is treatable. The oncologist that I saw indicated that I would be put on oral medication, but he did indicate that he would refer me to a specialist at Vancouver General regarding a stem cell transplant.
We discussed about what we were going to be doing, what drugs we were going to be taking, and what the procedure was, and the cycles and things like that. I felt very comfortable speaking to my doctor. I felt that I could tell her or ask her anything, and she was awesome. Because I live alone, I wanted her to know that I don't have a lot of people I can depend on to do things for me, so I needed to have a quality of life that I could carry on. My friends and family could see what I was going through, and though it was hard for them, they could be there for me and hold my hand as family and friends do.
The oncologist mentioned that the oral treatment would probably be a year or two, but the end goal was to get me to remission. And then he indicated that I might be on a low dose of medication throughout remission to keep me in that remission for as long as possible. I have been able to continue all of my regular activities since being on treatment, maybe not as robustly as I have in the past.
My first line of treatment has enabled me to live a lot better than I expected. You know, had the number of side effects, and unfortunately I was unable to work again. I do a lot of volunteer work now. Got into arts and baking and all kinds of things that I never had time for. These things I love, and I'll try and keep doing them as long as I can.
My outlook on life, I don't think it's changed a whole lot. The only way it's changed is that I've got to live each day to the fullest now. And yes, I do have those days, but I tend to rest more, lie down for 15, 20 minutes, and then get my energy back.
For people who have just been diagnosed with multiple myeloma, I tell them that there's a lot of hope. You know, if you were diagnosed maybe 5, 10 years ago, there weren't a lot of drugs out there that you could use. Now there are so many. There's a lot of support out there for you. Get in hold of Myeloma Canada and get into a support group, because they are what you need to help you navigate the whole myeloma journey. You know, this cancer is not a death sentence anymore. There's so much hope out there, and you can live a long, happy life and have a good quality of life.